coming out summer 2026. Give me your thoughts.
Oil baths for everyone. Like, here we go again.
Those are Grogu's first words. Here we go again.
Oh, brother.
It's a living. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Last Week in Star Wars. I'm Alex.
I'm Molly.
And we're going to dive straight into news. We have news because New York Comic-Con is going on this weekend.
I wish we could have gone to that.
Yeah.
I keep saying that, but I just want to go back to New York so badly, and one of these years we'll make it up for that convention.
Yeah, we've never been to New York Comic-Con, and they almost always have publishing news to drop. And this year is no different. So we have some fun announcements to talk about. The panel literally just ended. That's why we dropped this a little bit later, but let's talk about some of the new reveals. So first up is Star Wars Legacy by Madeleine Roux. This is coming out on July 28th, and it is an adult novel about Rey and Leia set in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, about them learning to be master and apprentice. They rebuild the lightsaber. They evade the First Order, of course.
They go to Tython.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this sounds really interesting and exciting that we get to see a little bit more of the training that happened between Leia and Rey.
Yeah, like what we got to see was so little, and of course it was limited by what dialogue they had from Carrie Fisher. So any time like the Rise of Skywalker novelization or the Rise of Skywalker comic adaptation, anytime they get to expand on Leia's role in that movie and their relationship, I like it. It just fleshes things out. So this is something I'm excited to see. I also think it's a nice touch that I haven't confirmed this yet, but I think the cover artist is the same person that did Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
At least the covers look very similar, but I think that was purposeful because it's about a master and an apprentice.
Yeah, the cover looks great. The art is gorgeous. I'm excited to read about the repair process for the lightsaber. It sounded like that got a mention in the little blurb for the book, so I'm curious how big of a part that will be in the story.
Yeah, and it's cool to, like you mentioned, keep seeing Tython, that it is this world that was important to the Jedi, but we don't really know how yet. Mm-hmm. In Legends, it was like the origin point for the Jedi Order, and now we have Octo. But it's interesting seeing that, yeah, a lot of Jedi keep going back to Tython.
Where else have we seen Tython?
That's where Grogu sits on the Seeing Stone.
Oh, maybe we'll see the stone again.
Yeah, and we see the Seeing Stone in Shadows of the Sith when Luke goes to Tython. It's also popped up in the Dr. Aphra comics a couple times. So it's a world that continues to appear, and I know that it gets a mention or something in the Sacred Jedi texts in this book, so maybe we'll get a little more context about it.
The sacred texts!
Yeah.
We'll get to see how boring they were, according to Yoda.
Yeah, there's a scene where Rey's just asleep, drooling.
Page turners, they were not.
Next up is an interesting one. It's Eyes Like Stars by Ashley Poston. This is being described as the first official Star Wars romance novel. It's a young adult book set 18 months before The Force Awakens. New characters, a mysterious artifact, and the First Order are all involved. Coming out summer 2026. Give me your thoughts.
It's about time. I mean, Temptation of the Force, in my opinion, was the first romance novel in Star Wars, but we can call that this.
There are definitely romance stories in Star Wars. Like, I also immediately thought of Lost Stars. Mm-hmm. But those, I wouldn't say were written to be romance novels. Actually, like, I'm already out of my depth because I've never read a romance novel, so I don't know if people would consider them romance novels.
Maybe I haven't either, but like the ones that I've read are like high fantasy romance. I don't know if that's what they're what are the ACOTAR books described as?
Right. I mean, I do think that that's probably kind of the target audience they're going for. Not so much ACOTAR, because those are probably like adult romance novels.
Right. This is young adult.
This is more of a Twilight, probably.
Yeah. I did read those too.
So yeah, I'm intrigued by this. Obviously, like I already said, I don't have any experience in the romance novel genre, but I guess this will be my first one.
Baby's first romance novel. That'll be a fun book club.
I mean, we have been talking about, you keep saying you think I'll like ACOTAR, and my friends and I, like, all of my friends who are married have wives who read ACOTAR, and they're all like, you would like them.
There's not that much romance in them.
I would like.
It's like a huge world building experience.
I'm talking like I have some sort of stigma against them. I don't, because I remember in Lost Stars and in Temptation of the Force, like, getting like all excited when like, oh my gosh, Thane and Sienna, they're finally getting together.
Giggling.
Like, I was excited. I was excited for Elzar and Davar. So yeah, I'm not anti-romance novel. It's just not something that I tend to seek out.
There was something interesting that happened that I kind of saw happen slowly over time when the High Republic came out. I know there's plenty of women in the Star Wars fandom, but I feel like a lot of them spoke up a lot more and got like a lot more involved in the fandom as the High Republic books were coming out and as those stories were getting more and more popular. Kind of the same with like Star Wars animation, especially the Bad Batch. And that's been really, really cool to see happen. I'm glad that a book like this is being made just for the fact that they've never explored that kind of writing really before in Star Wars. And these are brand new characters set like a year and a half before The Force Awakens. So it's sequel trilogy content, which is exciting. It's new characters. It's love.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is kind of made in response to the High Republic, and maybe they were seeing reactions to storylines from the High Republic where they're like, oh, maybe we should just really go all in on a romance novel and see what happens.
I mean, yeah, there hasn't been that much romance in Star Wars, period. And, you know, during the original trilogy, I think it was all Han and Leia back then.
Yeah, you're Han and Leia, you have Padme and Anakin, but
yeah,
even then, it doesn't seem like that's always the front and center part of the story.
Right. And in Legends, you know, we had Mara Jade, and a lot of people talk very highly of that kind of storytelling for those characters. It's nice to have more relationships to invest in. Like, the shipping community is huge and powerful. I don't know, it's just kind of like reminding me of the Swifties, like the Taylor Swift fandom almost, and how powerful they are and the presence that they have on social media. So why not tap into some of that with some Star Wars storytelling?
Yeah, and this being a sequel book, I think that's a good sign between this and Star Wars Legacy and The Last Order on its way. Like, I think they're definitely starting to open those gates wider and wider.
Yeah, because you've got a whole generation of kids who were kids when The Force Awakens came out, and it's been 10 years since that. Maybe they're around young adult novel reading age now, so it's like, yeah, give those kids something.
Keep them invested.
Yeah. It would be nice if it was characters that we did already know about, but...
No, I'm happy. I'm happy that we're getting... I always think expanding is good.
Yeah, it's like, well, if it were characters that we knew, chances are they couldn't really go very far with any kind of romantic storytelling because they just don't do that. But because they are new characters, we could potentially, you know, go anywhere with their stories.
Yeah, that's why I prefer that they're new. Moving into some of the comics that were announced, this one's a lot of fun. There's a Jar Jar one-shot on the way that's being co-written by Ahmed Best and Mark Guggenheim, but it is a team-up between Jar Jar Binks and Keller and Beck.
This sounds amazing.
Brilliant.
Co-written by Ahmed Best is huge.
Yes.
Like, I love that anytime Jar Jar or Keller and Beck kind of pop up, they are heavily involving Ahmed Best in like the character design, the clothes, you know, and now this storytelling. So this is incredible.
I'm wondering if, you know, like, let's go ahead and put the tinfoil hat on, but we're building up to the Mandalorian and Grogu, and people have pointed out, you know, Keller and Beck takes Grogu to meet some Naboo security force people and then flies off in their ship. Where did they go? And like, I know Ken Knapsack has been beating that drum on Force Center, being like, I want Keller and Beck to take Grogu to Jar Jar Binks. And I'm like, maybe this one shot is like, here's a little adventure they went on during the Clone Wars. They established their relationship. Here's how they met. And then in May, we'll see the further adventures of Jar Jar Binks and Keller and Beck.
I can't wait.
Who knows? But taking the tinfoil hat off, just the idea of this seems wonderful to me. Just a short little story about like the greatest hits of Ahmed Best.
Yeah. When does this one come out?
That one comes out on February 11th.
Valentine's Day.
Close. Maybe this one's a love story too. Next up is also exciting to me. This is Pathfinders by George Mann. This is a High Republic Adventures mini-series set 20 years after Phase 2. It's about a group of Pathfinders investigating the death of a Jedi Master during the High Republic. This sounds to me like the first, maybe official story in Phase More, as they've been calling it. We got Wayseeker and the Crystal Crown, but those were kind of written as tie-ins to the Acolyte more so. This feels like the continuing adventures of the High Republic.
This being set closer to Phase 2 and being all new characters, I'm kind of like, okay, is it gonna connect?
I have thoughts on that.
Yeah, because it's exciting no matter what to get Phase More content, but how does it connect to the things that I already know and love?
Right. So the thing I think this has potential to do is further explore the transition between the Path of the Open Hand to the Nile.
Okay.
How did they go from small cult to large group of marauders? We might check in with Marta Rowe. There's the mysterious death of a Jedi Master. Last we saw her, she was still out and about with the Leveler. She has a Nameless with her. So I think that this might be a good chance to see more of the change, because that's one of the big questions that I feel has been lingering at the end of the High Republic.
Yeah, and this might churn up a little more interest for Phase 2 of the High Republic, because I know a lot of people who kind of either skipped it altogether or skipped a lot of the stories from that phase, so including myself. So I'm interested to see how this goes.
It's just dawning on me, though, that on Monday, I'm putting out a complete High Republic timeline in the style of like the complete canon timeline that I do every year. So it looks very much like that. I just finished it and it's coming out on Monday. And then they're like, guess what?
Guess what?
Here comes some more. So at some point, I'll probably change it to be like the whole era and not just the publishing initiative. But it's funny.
I wonder if that's why they called it Pathfinders, if it's like connected to the path of the open hand.
Look at you. Yeah, that's good.
Galaxy brain.
That's good. Because it is two things. Like Republic Pathfinders are groups of like Republic and Jedi. They team up and they go explore hyperspace routes and uncharted areas. But yeah, they could find the path of the open hand. It's very good.
Works on multiple levels. I see what you did there.
Okay, George.
Okay.
The last big announcement that I thought was notable is Tsukumo by Aichi Shimizu and Tomohiro Shimaguchi. This is a Visions manga set after Order 66, a lone Jedi Knight who looks like he's wearing a stormtrooper helmet, maybe a TK helmet, I'm not sure. But they're bringing a pair of droids to a rumored droid paradise while being chased by the Empire. I think this might be its own thing. I was looking back through the Visions Season 3 trailer, and I didn't really recognize this art style or that character.
So this is not a character, like an ongoing story in Visions?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. If that's the case, that's not the first time they've done this. There was a one-shot comic that just stood all on its own. I think that came out a couple years ago. But still, I was kind of expecting this to be a Vision Season 3 tie-in. But if it's not, I'm for it. I like the idea of the Visions label continuing to expand out. And it hasn't been just the streaming series in a while. We've had a couple comics and a book. But I like that pattern.
Yeah, there's so many avenues for new storytelling, especially like with manga. That's exciting to get more of that in Star Wars. So yeah, it sounds like this is like a brand new character, brand new stories. It's by the same people that did the Ultraman manga. I don't know what that is, but if anyone else does, that could be exciting.
I know of the character, but I've never read the manga or seen any of the anime.
But the art style looks really dope, and yeah, the helmet looks really cool. Maybe it's like a trophy of some kind that he took from a soldier.
He thinks he's undercover. He's just like pops the helmet on. He's like, I'm all good. No one's gonna see me with my lightsaber out.
It does remind me kind of like a concept art Stormtrooper helmet. It looks like Stormtrooper, but not quite.
That sometimes just seems to be what Visions does, where, when you're in the concept art phase, you're just throwing everything out there, and a lot of stuff you're like, oh, that's really cool. It's not what we want for this movie. Kind of like Kylo Ren. A lot of his designs led to like Captain Cardinal or the other Knights of Ren. And it's kind of like that, where they're experimenting with something and someone went, hold on now, like we can't use this in whatever movie, but that it's just something that sparks creativity. Let's tell a story about this.
Do you think there's going to be a tie-in song that's like, been spending most our lives living in a droid paradise?
Yes.
I feel like that is just waiting to be written. Droid's paradise? Come on.
Get Weird Al out here now.
Not a Weird Al.
Well, he already did Amish Paradise. Why can't he do Droid's Paradise?
That's true. What do you think Droid's Paradise is? Droid's Paradise. That's all it says.
It did make me think of a place called Kligson's Moon, which was in the Dark Droids comics. It was also in the old Marvel comics a little bit. It was just kind of a place where some droids were able to live free. They would like liberate themselves, and they didn't work under humanity.
Yeah.
So it might be something like that.
Someone tell L3.
Yeah.
Oil baths for everyone. That's what I think of. I think of like Lanupa, but for droids. It's just a spa.
Just a droid spa.
Or like that bar that we saw in Mandalorian where all the droids are like vaping and drinking oil, or
just they're plugging themselves in, getting some energy.
Yeah.
There were also a couple of updates on some pre-existing stories like the Legacy of Vader comics, the Jedi Knights comics, the Art of the Acolyte, and of Andor. But we put some posts out on Instagram if you want to keep updated with all of that. We just wanted to cover the big new announcements. So we'll move on to last week in canon. This past week, Jaws of Jakku came out. That's the new audio drama. That came out on the day we're recording this, so we haven't listened to it yet. Beyond Victory, the pod racing VR game, that came out. We don't have a meta quest, but I did watch a YouTube video of the story. It's only like an hour long, hour and 15 minutes, which that seemed to be the biggest criticism when I was watching reviews, is people were like, I like it, it's just way too short.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe because it's playing on a VR set like that, maybe they purposely made it to be not very long.
I mean, the technology is very cool, and when I played like Vader Immortal or Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, I did try to like beat them all in one sitting, and that was way too long. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But this is like something that you could do in one go. The mixed reality is pretty interesting, having kind of like a virtual table in front of you. The story was enjoyable. I liked Volo, the main character. I really liked Dayland, the son of Rats Tyrell.
Aww.
Who is in the story like attempting to protest pod racing.
Oh my gosh.
It's very cute.
Because of what happened to his dad.
Yes. And he's friends with Volo, and he's like, be careful out there. Like, I was scared you were going to get hurt. Like, he's such a sweetie pie.
That's heartbreaking.
I loved him.
But in a good way, I guess.
Yeah. The music was really good. There was some good, like, Western style music, but also at one point there was like a Star Wars version of, it reminded me of Take on Me. Like it wasn't
At the pod race?
no, it was like when you're working in the garage.
Oh, cool.
It wasn't like, you know, the Huttese version of Major Tom that they did for Skeleton Crew.
Right.
It just kind of had that 80s vibe to it.
I wonder if that's something we've heard at Galaxy's Edge, because isn't there kind of like a little garage area where there's like a radio playing?
Maybe. I don't think I had heard it before, but I liked it. So the atmosphere seemed really cool. I liked the characters. There is a funny bit. So like we've been doing this tabletop game and Gracchus the Hutt is very important in it. And then come to see like, oh, he's in this. And then he forces your character, the racer, to race for him. And I was like, we literally just did that. So in a way, it kind of made me feel like I'm doing a good job. Gracchus would do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But by the time our video comes out, people will be like, you just doing Beyond Victory.
You copied that game. The comic book that they were exclusively giving out at the demo in Japan, that's coming out, I think.
Yeah, they talked about that at Comic-Con, so I think they're going to release that alongside the game. I did get to play it at Star Wars Celebration. We've mentioned that a couple times. It was fun and neat. Like I said, the mixed reality is really cool.
Not the whole game, just the demo.
Just like one little race and looking around in the VR a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're into VR, I think, and obviously Star Wars, I think you would really enjoy it.
Just know that the story seems to be very short. But yeah, you can watch a full play of it on YouTube now. Basically, Volo gets involved in some criminal activity on accident with Sebulba and then Gracchus. It was fun.
I did see some shots of Sebulba in the comic, and he's all like decked out. I liked his fit.
It's cool seeing him like well after the Phantom Menace, and he's got like a little bit of a goatee. His new pod racer is really cool. It's like it's got TIE Interceptor wings.
Ooh.
And it's built around like TIE bomber engines, and I think the cockpit is a TIE fighter cockpit, which again, we literally just did that in our tabletop game.
We did.
So,
oops.
Yeah.
Great minds.
But moving into some things we have read, Tides of Terror and Hunt for the Falcon both had their second issues this week. Let's start with Tides of Terror, because I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, this one felt a lot more fun and kind of action-packed compared to the last one.
The last one was all set up. So basically, Kit Fisto and Nadar Veb are sent to this underwater research station. There's some protests going on because they're investigating some ruins, but they're kind of messing with the local wildlife. And then at the end of the issue, there's an explosion that happens. So now we're dealing with the fallout of that. The station is flooding. People are panicking, leaving in escape pods before they're full. Like very Titanic.
Everyone's panicking except for the people who can technically breathe underwater, and they're
Right.
like, whatever.
Kit Fisto and Nadar Veb are like, we can help.
Yeah. Kit Fisto was so much fun in this issue. He is like the chillest dude ever. And he's just kind of cracking jokes left and right. And he is like keeping his cool under all the chaos. And he's telling everybody like, it's fine. We'll just do this. It's fine. We'll just do that. And it kept making me think like, man, what if Anakin trained with him? Like, what would have changed, if anything? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's always an interesting thought experiment to be like, yeah, I mean, Kit does seem like a very chill, calm dude. And yeah, obviously he can breathe underwater, so he's not freaking out that much.
And he's got that great smile. And there's even a joke in one of the panels where he says, you know, oh, we'll charm them with our winning smiles or something like that. And I'm like, I believe that. That
makes me think of Parks and Recreation when Chris just like smiles at a woman and she doesn't do what he wants him to do. He's like, wow, that usually works. Kit Fisto is the Chris Traeger of Star Wars.
Yeah. He's like, I just smile and I get what I want.
I was going to point out, though, that it had some dark parts, like those escape pods getting chomped up by the Zorfin, these like giant eel things. I was like, oh my God, for an all ages comic, obviously it all happens off screen, but I was still like, that is grim.
Yeah. And like you said, it was like kind of Titanic vibes because there aren't enough of these and half of them went out not full of people.
Yeah, people just panicked and like left in escape pods without filling them up. It's very Titanic, Poseidon adventure. There's a lot of that vibe going on.
Some of the engineers that were like in one of the, I don't know, engineer rooms, they were just like dudes in like
Literal red shirts.
red shirt. I mean, yeah, it made me think of like Star Trek red shirts guys, but they just had like red clothes and a belt, and like one guy had like very normal looking glasses, and I was like, these guys look like the Geek Squad or something, like in red. I don't know. I was like, they look so normal.
Moving into Hunt for the Falcon issue 2, I didn't like this one quite as much as the first issue, but there were still some interesting moments, like Chewbacca secretly calling Leia behind Han's back and having her tell him, like, don't get wrapped up in Han's BS.
I loved this issue for all of Chewbacca's stuff, because it's like almost every scene you can kind of tell he's like exasperated, and he's kind of like rolling his eyes, and he's like, oh boy, here we go again. Like, he doesn't really seem like he wants to be there doing all of this with Han, and he's kind of just entertaining Han through all this. And yeah, Leia is like, I think you should get back to Mala.
Yeah. Honestly, this issue kind of bummed me out because I don't like seeing Han acting this way and kind of like taking advantage of Chewie.
Yeah. Well, now we know like why Leia finally left him.
Yeah.
He was acting like this.
And I still, timeline wise, I don't think they're separated. I think they're probably still married, but I mean, he's off doing his racing stuff, which I think we knew about that in Bloodline.
He's got his like bachelor pad where he's sleeping kind of like on a couch or something.
Well, like he manages racers, so I think that's his apartment while he does that. But yeah, I guess we don't know the full timeline. Maybe they were already in a rocky place, and then Ben going dark was like the last straw.
He did have a nice like flashback.
Yes.
And there were some panels that showed like Han and Leia and a young Ben Solo in the Falcon.
Which makes me think that maybe that's why he's acting this way. It's not just about like, I need my shit back to go on adventures.
He thinks the Falcon is going to heal his relationship somehow.
I think that's that.
Classic man behavior.
If I just get the Falcon back, then we'll have happy times again, like we used to.
Yeah.
Like my relationships fell apart when I lost the Falcon.
Right.
So I am kind of thinking, all right, there's more to this than Han being an absolute bummer right now. But in this issue, I was just sad that this whole hunt for the Falcon is going to lead to his death. And I'm like, dude, don't do this.
I mean, that's a big jump.
I mean, yeah, it's years worth of jump, I think.
Yeah.
But that's how it felt reading this, is like we're chasing down Duquesne and then the Irving boys, which it was cool to see the Irving boys for the first time.
Sure.
That's how it ends, is he basically catches up to the Irving boys and now is on their ship and I guess still looking for the Falcon. We don't know where it is right now. It
reminds me of The Mandalorian when, Din kind of loses his way and he starts going back to bounty hunting, and it's just like Han's just going back to all the stuff that he used to do and knows that he can do, and just searching for things like the Falcon with the idea that it's going to fix everything.
Right.
He needs a hydro he needs a hydro spanner for his heart.
Oh.
Or his brain.
Cute. Before we get into our questions, I wanted to do a Last Week in Fandom, which I don't think we've done in a while, but this past week I wanted to shout out our friends over at Slam Sector. They are a Warhammer 40,000 channel. But
40,000?
40,000, 40K? I don't know what the correct nomenclature is.
Sure. They play with little guys.
Yeah, they play with little guys. They fill their house with like collectibles, like a bunch of nerds. Couldn't be me. Anyway, I've been...
And they buy stuff that isn't even painted. And they have to paint it. That's a lot of work.
It is. And you know what? That's a good segue into all of this, because I wanted to highlight my friend Jordan's work. I've been conniving with Jordan, who actually jumping back to 2020, I met him because he put on Operation Ace, which was the Star Wars Squadrons tournament that we were in. He like ran that whole thing. He designed the logo for Mustache Squadron just because, and then we became friends, and then he moved out here. And I've been conniving to play a game of Warhammer with one of my friends. I surprised him on stream, but Jordan made a Warhammer model, like he kit bashed it together to look like an X-Wing.
An orc swing.
Yeah, I was playing orcs, and so we were calling it the orc swing.
So cool.
But he painted it with Biggs's, like, the red 3 colors. The pilot inside had the yellow and black checkerboard. And then we were calling the pilot Squigs.
That sounds like a perfect orc name, too.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't really fully know what I was doing, except for when I was playing as Squigs. Like, when I had to roll for him, like, he never took a hit. Squigs didn't die in a blaze of glory like I was afraid he would, just like Biggs. That was my favorite part of the game, was like rolling, and everything I needed, the force was with me.
Oh, Squigs!
The force is strong in this one.
Squigs is killing
was actually just like, son of a...
Oh, baby! Squigs is so good.
Squigs
is the best.
I want him to win now.
Little guy.
I want him to win now.
But I'll link to that video if you want to check it out. It was a lot of fun. But moving into last week in questions, we took a couple from our Patreon. Our first is from Flaws, who asks how we think The Mandalorian and Grogu will connect to Ahsoka Season 2, if at all.
I don't know that it's going to connect that much, but I assume, what's his name will be in it?
Zeb.
Oh, yeah, Zeb.
Oh, who did you mean?
I was thinking Carson Teva.
I really do hope Carson Teva is in The Mandalorian and Grogu. We don't know that he will be or not, but yeah, Carson has been like that through line. I think that Zeb will probably be in Ahsoka Season 2. I feel like they even said that he would be at the panel in Celebration.
I think so. I mean, he has to be.
Outside of that, like, I don't think they're going to talk about Ahsoka or Peridia in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Like,
sorry, I just had a thought of Zeb and Ezra's reunion, and that made me really happy.
I really hope they have that similar. I mean, obviously they're going to be hugging and happy to see each other, but I remember when we were rewatching Rebels in Season 1, they are so like
they
big brother, little brother.
Hated each other.
Yeah, but in that brotherly way.
Sure.
Like, they had to share a room together, and they were just always on each other's nerves. Outside of Zeb, we might just have some connections with maybe not Thrawn directly, although they could. Maybe they will. Maybe they will use the movie to start bringing in the big bad as we lead to Filoni's movie.
Yeah, we could see connections with like the Imperial Remnant and the circle of people. Did they have a name?
The Shadow Council.
The Shadow Council.
I do think there was a rumor that specifically one of them is going to be the main villain of this movie. So like kind of going through the mini bosses before we get to Thrawn.
It would be really cool if Sigourney Weaver was in Ahsoka Season 2.
Yeah, that's true. I bet she will be in Filoni's movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're probably going to be introduced to some characters that will return to the big screen. But as far as, like, Ahsoka's story on Peridia, I don't think we're going to get any connections to that.
Probably not.
I think it'll be more main galaxy, like, Akbar could be in it. I think there will probably be discussions of Grand Admiral Thrawn is back, and that's not good.
Unless the Mando and Grogu movie just ends with this huge cliffhanger of, like, they're being asked to go to another galaxy. And it's like, here we go again.
Those are Grogu's first words. Here we go again.
Oh, brother.
It's a living.
I would cry tears of, I don't know what emotion that would make me cry, but I would be upset if that happened. I'd be like, they are ruining this little
not my Grogu
adorable baby character. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know if we're headed towards like a teenage Groot situation. I don't know. I'm not interested, I don't think.
I don't think we are. I think they know what works for Grogu, and they'll just stick with that.
I'm worried that they haven't thought this out.
Cameron Stewart asks who our favorite glup shitos of the Disney era of Star Wars are. So I can't say bigs. We're just talking like newbies.
Claude is a big one.
Yeah, people do like Claude a lot. I was gonna shout out Turgle, kind of a similar vibe, just a little weirdo.
For sure, Turgle. Colonia?
Oh, she's a great one.
Yeah.
I was like, we've been rewatching The Force Awakens since it's the 10th anniversary. We just had to rewatch it for a Dragon Con panel. And she is wonderful. One scene she's in, very memorable. Like,
Very charming.
such a funny beat. You must be so brave.
Her name reminds me Coloni, which is like a super deep cut. If you know who that is right off the bat, I'm proud of you. This is a character. It's like this driver alien in Rise of Skywalker that's like driving the truck that Lando is in, and has one line, just kind of like turns around and just goes, "Okay."
Everyone laughed in that theater. Like, we had some criticisms of the Rise of Skywalker, but that little alien, no notes.
Peak Star Wars.
And I mean, Babu Frick.
Babu Frick.
Everyone loves. He's kind of a basic answer. Everyone loves Babu Frick.
I mean, he spawned this huge love for just Anzellans in general, and now they're in the shows and Mando and Grogu, so that was huge.
I would go with another Star Wars Jedi character, Scuva Stev. Love him.
I think that's an even deeper cut than Turgle, because he's only got like a couple lines.
Turgle is like, you're going to see him in cutscenes. Scuva Stev, I think, is completely optional that you talk to him.
Well, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I sought him out and I listened to every bit of his story. I loved him. I feel like Cobb Vanth, I don't know if he is Glupshido status anymore. Well, everyone has their own definition of Glupshido, but at least when he was introduced in The Mandalorian, definite Glup.
Yeah.
And obviously I love him and what he represents.
Yeah, there's probably some like obvious ones that we're missing, but I'm trying to think of like pretty deep cut ones. Dr. Mandibles. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, there's just a giant ant in this scene. Who is he?"
Frog Lady and Frog Man, just for the fact that and I guess Frog Baby.
Frog Baby.
There is a Frog Baby at the end of all that.
They did get an official species and maybe names. I can't remember.
I don't know if they got names yet, but that Mandalorian visual guide is on the way, so
Finally.
maybe Pablo Hidalgo will finally throw a name out. Maybe we'll get names for like the client and stuff too. I really love Cardinal. Again, like, he's a pretty central character to the books he's in, but I don't think a lot of people know him. But the red armored First Order stormtrooper who eventually defects and realizes how terrible the First Order is, and I'm like, he's great.
His story was really, really good.
Great story, cool armor. Kind of wish he got to keep the armor. Like, if the Resistance were like, you can stay. You can keep that.
I still think they should put a statue or at least an Easter egg of some kind for him in Galaxy's Edge somewhere, because Vi's there.
Yeah. And he saves a lot of people.
Yeah. Geode.
Yeah, again, like,
Geode's a huge one.
He's a huge character in the High Republic, but people who haven't read him, like...
But there was this whole thing where everyone who wanted to speak poorly about the High Republic, with no plans even to read it, they latched on to this character that's a rock.
Wow, he's just a rock.
To make fun of it. And everybody was like, "Ha, you don't know Geode at all."
Yeah, it's like everyone came out of the woodwork to defend Geode because he's incredible.
Imagine hating Geode. Like, what a fool.
Not around here, partner. But that's it for last week in Star Wars. Next week, we'll be covering Legacy of Vader issue 9, and we should have listened to Jaws of Jakku by then, so we'll probably talk about it next week. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Blue Sky.
And consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.